Welcome back to Total Party Kill. It's me, Tony Sindelar, a dungeon master, he, him, his. Today we are playing more of our Gribbits, not safe for work, not safe for your kids, Dungeons and
Not
Dragons
safe for
adventure.
anybody.
It's right. This is the adventure where, inspired by the Australian comedy group, the Dragon Friends, the players have been permitted to swear. This is a permission that I have deeply regretted. It's not so much the words, but the ideas they use to convey those words. Nope, that's not really how a sentence works, but we're just going to push through that. Let's introduce our players. They will introduce their characters. I'll remind you of the mayhem so far. I will introduce people in order of how much fault this is, starting with James Thompson, who immediately looked guilty. I just saw the blood rush to his face when I used the word fault. James Thompson, welcome to the podcast.
I'm he, him, and I am playing Cammy, the heiress Cadence, who is a friend to orphans everywhere. Sorry, a fiend to orphans everywhere.
Let's see. There's a lot of blank space on the list. Let's see here. It's mainly not through action, but in action at this point. Let's go with Tiff Armet. Hi, Tiff.
Aquafina Thirstrap, the Genasi fighter. She, her, and we are her. I was trying to be cool and it didn't work.
Also,
damn it.
You are also, your character is slightly inebriated by lamp oil fumes.
Oh yeah, that's right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey.
It's just like being
Don't forget the methane too. So breathe a lot of that in.
Joining us, it's Steve Lutz.
Hey, it's me, Steve Lutz. As advertised, I am continuing to play Frank, who is a turtle and really was not involved in this cunning plan at all, other than standing around and letting it happen around.
Next up, it's Annette Wierstra.
Hello, I am playing Kakara, and we are both she, her. And, you know, in my defense, I found the shaft. I didn't light the shaft on fire.
We didn't start the fire.
Oh, Annette, you really put the cock in Kakara.
And the innocent bystander to this soon-to-be mass murder, it's Micah Sargent.
Okay, see, that's where it gets confusing. Is Micah Sargent the innocent bystander of a mass murder?
We'll
Glupo?
We'll let the courts sort it out.
I play Micah Sargent, he, him, Glupo, he, him, the forest gnome bard.
All right. Let me remind people what's going on as I attempt to remind myself what is going on, because things are gotten a little out of control. Our adventurers are all members of the Waterdeep Guild of Thieves, Tricksters, and Beggars. They are searching for their leader, one Janos Mir, the Beggar King, who has been abducted, apparently by some kind of conspiracy linked to the Artificers Guild. They have tracked Janos Mir and the conspiracy to the Fury of Holtzman, a large ship undergoing repair and retrofitting in a dry dock. In the ship line of Waterdeep, the Fury of Holtzman is owned by one Alexei Holtzman, who seems to be somehow affiliated with the shadowy Artificers Guild. That is where I established the adventure. What has now happened is that people, we're not going to say who, have set fire to the ship that contains several of our adventurers, many, many orphans, several people who are just hired craftspeople doing their work, and the person nominally you were sent here to save.
Don't forget the gunpowder.
Lots of gunpowder and possibly one or more bad guys. Possibly. Unconfirmed.
You can't make an omelet without burning some eggs.
Yes. So let us just remind ourselves where you all are, because you're a bit spread out at this point. Cammy, as played by James Thompson, you are you are overseeing this operation from the safety of the docks themselves. You have crossed the gangplank, left the ship. Kakara and Aquafina, you have basically blended in with the crew on the deck. Frank and Glupo are beneath the deck. Glupo has, using the power of music, hypnotized, at least enthralled a number of orphans, and cast Thunderwave, badly wounding one of the guards, slaying some overseers, and attracting the attention. The ship is in a state of chaos as sailors are both trying to figure out, are they under attack from somebody casting magic spells beneath the deck? Yes. And is the ship on fire from somebody setting a fire at the other end of the ship? Also, yes. And so things are chaotic. Glupo and Frank, I think we will start with you. I would like you both to roll initiative.
I can do that.
Fine. 16, not bad.
As soon as I find the chat window. Where did you go? Chat window.
And maybe other people should roll initiative too, just so I know kind of, I'll check in what you're doing on turns, even if you're not part of this fight per se. I don't think this particular, we'll see how long this particular fight is.
20 on the die. Let's go for 22 for initiative.
All right.
I can't-
Frank, are you in there?
Nobody else is in the.
I am not in the turn order.
Oh, haha. Hold on. I may need to re-add people.
Put me in, coach. There we go.
Did I get everyone? Am I missing anyone there? Nope, I think that's all of you. Frank, what's your dexterity modifier?
I got a +1.
Roll off with the guard who got the same as you. I'm rolling a d20. I got a 2. Could you beat a 2 on a roll off?
I can. I got a 12.
All right, you will go before the guard, which means you may slay him before he gets to do anything. All right, everybody in there?
Frank doesn't really have any particular reason to slay anyone, so
Well,
it's probably a good thing that Glupo's going first, because otherwise Frank would continue to drum on his shell on his turn.
all right, Glupo, you lead us off. You have started a fight that perhaps you can finish. You passed Thunderwave, which we remind you is audible from 300 feet in every direction, which covers a large chunk of this, probably the whole ship. So everybody knows that something chaotic is happening here.
Mm-hmm. But all that's in this room is just one still remaining person, right?
Yep, one guy stands at the door. Perhaps other people are about to converge on your location.
All right.
He says, foreshadowy.
Well, I guess Glupo will strike out at the person that's there in front, since the guard is not interested in helping out.
Nope.
And rolls a 12 to hit.
12 is the armor class of this guard. And
Right.
How much damage did you do there?
5 piercing damage.
5 is the hit points of this guard. So you slay this guard with your rapier. He goes down with a kind of dumbfounded look on his face as blood splashes onto the deck floor. Dozens of orphans are traumatized by this.
Don't worry, folks. We're just getting you to that place I told you about. You're just going to follow Glupo here, and we're going to make our way out of this burning ship. At least
Mr.
I think
Gunther,
that's
what happened to that man? He's all red and sticky.
All right, you're going to follow Gunther here. So with Glupo's move action, can he find the keys?
Yeah, I'll give you that as a bonus action. The keys are in a conspicuous key ring on his belt. He's got one of those ones that are on like a little chain.
That's a nerd.
You can just take them.
Cool. And
Still have a move action if you want.
Yeah, I think I'll move toward move towards the front of the line of orphans so that he can get ready to start unlocking them.
All right. Okay, you start unlocking orphans. Kakara, you are up on the deck. People are running around. In some ways, this makes you even more conspicuous and also more inconspicuous since things are chaotic, but it seems like the ship may be getting kind of locked down here. What would you like to do?
I'm still just like focused, watching the doors to see if my suspicious characters come out of the burning room.
All right. Cammy, you are safely on the other side of the dock. You can see smoke pouring out of the portholes. That's a nautical word for you. Toward the back of the ship.
Now, wait a minute.
looks-
I'm looking at this map, and that's the starboard side, so they
Sorry.
can't possibly be portholes.
The star holes. Smoke is pouring out of the star holes. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
They
Or as
look
we
like
call them
butts.
in astronomy terms, black holes. And you also notice, Cammy, I would say from your position, it does seem like the crew on deck is starting to get organized, but it's pretty chaotic. Would you like to do anything? This is all your fault.
Yes, I would. So there was a carriage
Wait, is this the cunning plan? You got to
Yeah,
let me know
we're
when
gonna
it's going to be
finally
unfolded
see the
because
circles around.
So
I want to be sure I recognize it as soon as it becomes cunning.
We're circling back, people.
Yeah, I am going to circle behind the carriage.
All right, there is a fancy carriage with a big, like, embossed H on the sides and back. There's a very ostentatious footman up on top of the carriage, I think, trying to settle his very fancy white stallions that are going to.
I'm assuming
How do you know
his-
he's a footman? He might be an ass man or a leg man. You can't tell just by looking at him.
I'm going to assume that his attention is generally
It's very.
focused
He
on
seems. He's concerned about the horses that are panicking, and not you. Because you are not a horse.
I am going to
Not his horse, at least.
shapeshift into one Janos Mir and come back out the other side of the carriage and shout across to the people on the deck saying, "I'm here, you've saved me."
Is your plan lying to all your friends?
So we think we saved him.
And becoming the head of the Thieves Guild.
I'm here.
Wow. All right. So this.
I mean, it is cunning. I gotta give you that.
I think
gonna have to
most of
make-
those letters are
he's-
accurate. There's one that I
he
might
is-
change.
He's just gonna have to make bluff checks for the rest of his life. No, guy, I see where this is going. You go home, you take out an insurance policy on him, and then you fake your own death, and then you get to go back to being you.
The thing is, like,
He doesn't
all
even
of
have
the
to fake
rest
his
of
own
us,
death. He just waits for the real body to turn up.
All right. Well, Kakara and Aquafina, you are on deck. You would know Janos Mir from having worked with him and for him for however long you've been good members of the Waterdeep Guild of Thieves, Tricksters, and Beggars. Cammy, this is where we do a contest. Give me a performance check. I forget if you have an advantage based on your various abilities. Should I not call you Cammy anymore? And
you can call me Janos.
Janny.
Janos.
Um,
And Kakara
Jan
and
to my
Aquafina,
friends.
you get to make basically a check to oppose that.
We
Wait, I have something. I have
sniff
something to
check.
say. I have something to say. So, all right. I knew this was gonna happen. So wait, I want to do something.
Or Aquafina knew.
I knew, but I'm not telling anyone. I'm gonna jump down and I'm going to barricade the doors where the burning is happening
All right.
Ooh.
to ensure that this charade goes forward.
So,
All right.
So basically,
Aquafina,
I
will-
have promised pay rises, good quarters,
To certain
treasure.
people
Not to me.
or to one
Well,
person.
no,
All right.
you will get it. Trust me.
Aquafina will let you do that on your turn. It's so you say you are not even that this is a deception is what you're telling me.
Yeah, I do. I do like a little like head, like
Okay. Well,
I nod
Kakara.
back.
a little knowing.
I
knowing
rolled a 19
All right. Performance check.
Okay.
and
I
I
rolled
had
a-
no foreknowledge. So
I rolled a 19 plus 4.
All right. Kakara. It's confusing that Janos Mir, the man you came to rescue, is on
Okay.
the other side of the gangplank, but it does seem to be Janos Mir. All right, Cammy, I think that's your turn. Frank, you are down below decks in a room with Glupo, aka Gunther, and let's just say 2d10 orphans. Where's my d10s at? There are that's no, there's more than that. There's 18 orphans
Did
there.
you roll like 3?
Yeah, I was
3
like,
orphans.
3
No,
orphans.
no wonder the hours suck.
Yeah,
You could just pick them up.
triple shifts.
No, remind
So-
me of there's a hold full of orphans. Are there any doors off of this chamber? Is there?
There's one main door off this chamber that leads to a hallway that leads to some stairs that lead back up to decks. There were lots of other twisting hallways and passageways. And I'll say, while you were on your way down here, you saw various people running around, both sailors and guards. So you suspect that you may not be alone here for long, since the origin sound of the explosion is probably hard to locate precisely, but not hard to look to before someone's going to check this room.
So there's not like a big door somewhere that just says Brig or Janos Mir is in here on this
There is
outside.
No,
not
no.
from within your orphan area, which is
It's not
is
even
parsed.
worth looking.
Please, let's not talk about my orphan area on a podcast.
Private.
Okay. Well, since there's no obvious signs of where the guy I'm still looking for might
You-
be,
You could ask Glupo.
well, Glupo doesn't know, does he? I'll find out.
Glupo.
Hey, Glupo.
Okay.
Have
Yeah.
you found Janos Mir?
No, I sure haven't. Just been down
Okay.
here with these orphans.
Wait, are you in on this too?
No, I
Mike, I will
didn't.
remind you.
I haven't met Genosmere.
No, you did. You did see a conspicuously guarded brig in the previous session.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Did I see Genosmere in there or
No,
No.
you just it was not. You saw a door with like a barred window being
A
guarded
barred
by him.
door? Not one of
Barred
these
door.
damn singing
I
doors.
saw a door that was made particularly for me, and I just have this hankering that Genosmere could be there.
I'm the door to the brig. I'm the door to the brig. Janos Mir is inside me. I'm the door to the brig.
Why doesn't this
So-
boat have more singing parts? I ask myself. I do not ask
You know,
myself that.
that is a question we have. So,
Starting to
Frank,
understand the Scott McNulty perspective on Dungeon Mastering more today.
I did see a jail cell, which on boats are called brigs, just so you know. And perhaps, maybe one of our friends, our dear friend could be there, but also it could just be that that's where they keep the bad orphans.
Okay. Frank's going to
Or
start
orphan-
lumbering
orphans, as we
towards.
call them.
Frank's going to start lumbering his way towards the wherever you pointed.
All
See if he
right.
can find the jail.
The barred doors over there.
Frank,
I'll
you're
follow
gonna,
my ears,
the
which are really just indentations in the side of my head.
Ah.
It's actually vibrations
Little
that I
mermaid.
hear.
Frank, I'm
Here,
going to make
in
you roll
quotes.
something to successfully find the brig.
Okay.
Wait, is it perception for his ears? Because again,
I think it's probably investigation.
Am I good at that? Let's find out.
Frank
Oh,
is
I'm
very
not.
good.
I'm not. Are you sure it's not perception?
Hey,
Sure, I'll let you roll
I helped
perception.
because I pointed.
Yeah, you have an advantage.
Oh, I have advantage?
Yeah, this is
Oh.
your ability. This is your ability to follow simple instructions from Glupo.
Okay. To mentally draw a line from his elbow to his finger to the end of the hallway. That first roll's a 23.
All right.
Nice.
You follow the passageway a ways, and you arrive at a. There's lots of sailors and guards running back and forth. There are two guards looking nervously as they are unsure whether to leave their posts and help put out the various fires and attacks on the ship, or stand here and protect the brig. But it's clearly, there's a door that's got like one of those little windows with a hatch with little iron bars, and it seems to be a brig. I will also tell you, as you are headed that way, you pass a conspicuous, it's clearly a trio of guards that are converging upon the orphanarium to probably try and murder Glupo.
The orphanarium? There's a name for a room
Mhm.
full of orphans? I didn't know that.
Well, on a boat, on a boat.
The
yes.
orphatorium?
It's a nautical orphan holding chamber.
All right. Frank sees the guards outside the brig and says, hello.
The two
And then
guards
he points up and
look at
says,
you.
there's a fire on the deck.
Mm. All right.
And just smiles.
That is, I mean, that's not deception because that's true. So that just happens.
You broke Tony.
I'm not used to people. Usually, you guys lie in unnecessary moments, including,
hoping
for
just to-
example,
I'm hoping
Lupo
just
has
to
been
add
giving
to
out
their
the name
confusion
Gunther
as
for
to what to do.
reasons. Let me ask you this, Frank. Are you attempting to persuade them to leave their post?
Well, I'm just adding that information to their list of things they have to think about.
All right, we'll find out what's going to happen on their turn, which is now. So the two guards turn to look at each other. It's like they've kind of are just not very interested in you, Frank. It seems rude, honestly. I think you're great. And one guard says to the other, so
Thanks.
Steve, what do you think about this? And the other guard
Wait,
says,
you have one of the
"Langley,
guards
you know
named
what I think
Steve?
about this. Yeah.
This is confusing.
Do you want me to change that?
I am so
Even
lost.
James.
This is in the
What
this
do
is
you think
yeah,
about
the other
this?
guy's named James. This is in the adventure as written.
Damn it, Steve.
So Langley said, it's Stephen Langley. And Langley is like, look, Steve, we gotta
What?
stay here. This is our job here is important. And Steve says, but maybe we should go check on the fire or like take a break or eat lunch. I don't know.
I
How
do not
important
say
could it
that.
be? We should leave.
Oh my god.
And Langley is like, Steve, get it together. If
Wait,
we die,
why
we
are you
die
getting mad
here.
at me?
Slaps him.
He slaps him. 1d4 damage to Steve. Damage to Steve.
Hang on, I gotta find my 1d4.
So
Oh, it's a
you can call
4. Oh no!
Steve, if you could call somebody in the room and slap you, that would be great.
Can you
Now
call
I'll
this
just
Steve
keep
Marco to
whacking
slap
myself
you?
like I usually
So-
do when I'm on this
Now
podcast.
Steve needs to
Stop
slap
whacking
Langley.
off.
They need to slap each other.
So Langley and Steve are involved in a tense discussion about whether they should leave their post. Also, Frank is present.
Hello.
I'm gonna label these two
Fire.
so I can keep track of them. And Steve has taken 2 damage from being slapped by Langley. It's great. Also, you are present in this adventure. 3 guards appear at the door to your orphan chamber, Glupo, and they have weapons drawn, and they are looking at you. A strange forest gnome who is unlocking manacles to orphans, and they point their scimitars at you. I'm gonna say it's close quarters. One of them is gonna run in and take a swing at you.
Oh, not even a chance to.
Wait, the deck's on fire. He's letting the orphans escape, and they're gonna come down and just attack him for that.
Well,
Seems like a nice thing to do.
These guards may not know the deck is on fire. These guards may know that someone cast Thunderwave next door to them.
Oh, they came from down here.
Yeah, these
Gotcha.
you can looking at these are clear under decks guards. They've got those distinctive tattoos, and they all got that kind of like pale monitor glow that these are not above decks guards.
So they
These
all
are-
are wearing shirts that say "We like it below."
yeah, we like it below. Yeah, they're also
From
like
down
no
from
fear.
down the hall. They hear
Hey, they
the
took our
deck is on
catchphrase,
fire.
jerk.
Glupo, I rolled a 13 to hit.
Oh shoot! I almost beat it.
Remember that
My
time that we
class
left
is
you all
13.
alone? All right. You get hit real good in the arm for 4 slashing damage.
Ignore that.
Okay.
I'm not ignoring that damage.
Glupo, you died as you lived, saving orphans.
Okay, so 4 damage.
Is it really
Got
saving
it.
if they die?
I've got a middle finger for you, James.
All right.
What did I do?
You made an observation. You never do that.
All right. Aquafina, you are next.
All right, I am going to use my turn to.
Did you want to leave the rigging and go and basically brace the captain's door? Is that what you had said you wanted to do before? You still want to do
Yeah,
that?
there seem to be like 2 doors and a staircase over here.
Yeah, the one at the top goes to the captain's quarters. That one goes to other stuff.
Okay, so I want to somehow block the doors and continue setting smaller fires on the deck.
Wow. All right. Well,
Stealth fires.
There
You
are several
complete me.
there are several barrels next to the door that could be really shouldn't be there. Seems like a major fire code violation. You think you could probably spend your turn pushing those barrels in front of the door.
Okay, so I will push barrels in front of the door, and then as after I'm done pushing them, I light the barrel on fire, which I'm assuming contains gunpowder,
Mhm.
and then I make a move.
I'll just point out that once the barrel explodes, it will no longer hold the door closed.
That's
So-
okay. I'm okay with
There,
that.
there won't be much door
all right.
there, so
All right. Are you going to leave that area then?
Yeah, I'm going to very athletically leave the area.
All right. You hear the frantic pounding of someone banging on the door from the other side.
That's
Someone who may be lightly on fire.
Oh no.
Hmm.
Well, I continue pushing the barrel and continue lighting it on fire because
A
I'm a
light dust in the
humanitarian and
fire.
I want them to die quickly.
All right. Well, these are all a series of decisions that we are making and that I am dealing with. Glupo.
I
It
also
is-
make eye contact with the fake Lexi, the Flexi on the
no,
Oh, no,
fake-
he's not-
fake
he-
Janos.
fake Janus.
fake
Well,
Janos.
just remember,
the Thanos.
Lexi,
Thanos.
who we have actually never seen because you have sealed him in a burning room, is your villain. Janos Mir, technically also possibly sealed in a burning room, technically the person you were sent here to save.
Who is standing on the gangplank?
James, I just like that this adventure could have been about 20 minutes if you had just said, I'm going to take his place. Let's never go
Oh,
save
that would
him."
have been really funny, actually.
And that's when Tony has to come up with another adventure. Rocks fall. Glubo, it is your turn. There are 3 rather intimidating below decks guards with scimitars looking at you, looking at the orphans, looking like they're ready to fight.
Yeah, Glupo's arm goes behind his back, and he sort of does this. He fingers a little spell,
Whoa.
and then from the brig area,
We'll workshop it. Don't worry about it.
Thank you. From the brig area, Janos Mir's voice says, "I'm out. I'm free."
So many Janoses.
For the guards to hear.
Okay.
And you will need to make a DC 13. Oh, DC 12. I think it's an intelligence check.
Intelligence or wisdom?
Successful intelligence investigation check. It says
To not be tricked by it.
to not be tricked.
All right. Let's see here. I got 3 different guards. I got 3 different dice. Roll in intelligence for all of them. Let's see. One of them is easily convinced. The other 2 are not.
Dang, 2 of them.
Sorry, I rolled a 16, a 17, and a 12.
Do I get like a grouping of orphans to control now?
Yeah.
What's the
Excellent.
armor class of an
Gruel of
orphan?
orphans.
You have a gruel of orphans. Yes.
That's right. So yeah, that's all Glupo can do. I guess he got one of the guards
Can you tell
to-
all the orphans to attack them?
to go that way, and now, now that
Orphans,
I've
just
got-
fling your frail little bodies on them. Right on to.
Would
a
you
scimitar
rather
can only
fight
stab so many
100 orphans?
Exactly. I'm wondering, Tony, can I have as the gruel of orphans?
Mm.
Can the gruel of orphans have advantage on an intimidation check?
No,
where they,
they're small children who have been working.
Okay, but
Micah, I say yes to a lot of things. But can the starving children intimidate an armed guard?
They're hungry. They
2
get
guards.
There's a
hungry.
lot of
They-
them.
They
There's like
literally
8
were
of
just
them.
fed. They were.
How
just
many were
fed.
there again? Were there 18 orphans?
There's 18 orphans. There's 3 guards. Let's just
18 orphans could
There are
take.
2 guards because one of them's gonna go away.
All right. Okay. So each guard only has to murder 9 innocent children. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Some
these
people
guards
is-
might not be terrible
They could
people. They might not be
swarm
the
the
people
guards.
who would kill
Children are-
orphans.
They're kind of like have you ever been swarmed by even like 3 children? It's upsetting.
No,
Have you
I've
ever-
never tried to murder
No.
children, Tim.
No, not as you're trying to murder
At
them.
a
I'm just
children's
saying, like,
birthday party.
being climbed on by children, they are
weigh you
really
down.
deceptively spiky. Like,
Okay.
So maybe not advantage.
Yeah.
But I'd like to roll intimidation
Uh,
All right.
for the gruel of orphans.
So you order the orphans to attack, and the orphans are
no,
loyal to you.
I'm not. So Glupo turns to the orphans and says, let's take care of these guys together. He doesn't actually want them to attack. He wants it to look like there's a giant group of people ready to revolt
Mhm.
against 2 people.
All right. So you have both clarified your plan and whether you're a horrible person. Thank you. Yeah, why don't we
You know
give
what?
me
And in
what?
fact,
And in
as
fact,
as
what?
Glupo is saying that,
Mhm.
his voice is subtly laid with some undertones of
Oh, you just remember that you're magic and not just a person who gets children killed, didn't you?
well, I remember that I'm a forest gnome, which means that
Mm.
I can speak with small beasts, and so there's like a light
Oh.
chirping.
You were already
underneath his
talking to the
voice.
orphans.
And he also, along with the orphans as they gather, any rats that are within the vicinity also gather and like get ready to attack these guards.
All
Plus,
right,
there's got to be a bird or 2 in here, right?
That's got to be
Oh, yeah.
intimidating.
Mhm.
Yeah, under
Oh, some
boats.
birds.
Need more birds.
There's no birds.
Well, what the hell is a
Yet.
hold of his ship without a couple of birds?
Yeah,
True.
that's
It's
great.
probably a cat.
I just I feel like I say yes and to a lot of things, and that has set a dangerous precedent here.
This
All
is
right.
fine.
Look, you're the
Where-
one that
yeah,
prepped
yeah.
with the bird knowledge. I'm just trying to help.
All right. You know what, Micah, please roll an intimidation check for the orphans. They can use your intimidation score if you want, since you're kind of ringmastering them.
Yeah, 15 intimidation.
All right, I will do a contested thing for my two bandits to try and not be intimidated. They have +0. So one of them already thinks Janos mirrors, and they both rolled. This is where the dice, they go both ways. I rolled double 4s. So yes.
Double 4s.
Double 4s. The guards
Double
they're either scared
Dumbledore?
about, they're either legitimately afraid of being attacked by orphans or concerned about how many orphans they're going to need to murder to get through the day's
or
work.
concerned about rabies from rats.
Or concerned about rabies from rats. There's one rat has joined the fray, and that rat, also an orphan.
And also named Gunther,
Yeah.
coincidentally.
Yep. So continuity. I will say that the guards basically are in disarray and no longer active combatants in this situation. Glupo, that was a very long turn. I think it is your turn.
That's all I
done.
can do for sure. Yeah.
Kakara, you are above decks. Your your coworker Aquafina has put a barrel in front of the captain's quarters and set that barrel on fire. You see Janos Mir on the safety of the docks,
who's waving to you in a cheery fashion.
You know that Glupo and Frank are below decks.
Yeah,
somewhere.
I feel,
no one's seen Cammy in a little while, so
yeah. Well, Cammy, whatevs. I feel like this deck is gonna burn, and I have some loyalty to my friends who I know are below deck.
The deck is on fire.
That is essentially what I do. Is I go down below deck to inform Frank and Glupo. The deck's on fire, but I have like huge wings, right? So when I go down, I can like flap those around and just tell, like, kind of cause more chaos and be like, get out.
Fans
the
the
boat
flames
is on
into
fire.
a massive conflagration.
Mention that Janos
Turn into
Mir
a
is
phoenix.
above deck as well, so that no idiot goes and looks at the break.
Yeah, I don't really care about that.
Yeah, no backseat turns there, James.
Yeah, no, I don't care about that.
Your dumb plan has to live and die.
You didn't tell me your plan, so I'm just like, whatevs.
There's, I'm just gonna say, there's a certain amount of ingenuity in not letting the dungeon master in on your plan. There's a certain amount of stupidity not letting any of your friends in on it either.
I let one in.
Yeah. Well,
and she's working for you.
Yeah,
I'm not.
So Kakara, you go down. You find, not too far down the hold. Apparently the ship is getting smaller all the second. Glupo and 18 orphans, most of which have been demanacled at this point. Guards have surrendered the hallway. It is chaos, and it does not help that a large bird person has come down beneath the decks and is yelling about a fire. There are guards and crew and sailors and carpenters running around in disarray. And now there's a bird yelling at them.
Well, and I'm kind of trying to use my wings to like guide people towards the ladder, because I can sort of whack them into
it is honestly
order.
Not helping. I think probably in the narrow passageways of the deck, you're an obstacle. But
Roll for fire.
What are you trying to direct people up?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get everyone out.
Oh yeah, I will say that you are blocking the passageway that you're standing in, such that one of the few places for people go who are streaming in your direction, who don't want to fight you because you don't seem to be causing a fight yet, is just to go up. So yeah, you are blocking traffic and directing people up. How's that?
Yep. Sounds good. That is what I'm doing.
All right, Cammy, or should I say Janos Mir, you are on the you're watching this spectacle unfold from the safety of the dock.
How heavy
What's
is that
next?
gangplank?
What's step 3? It's I don't know. It's got to be pretty heavy.
It's large. It's wood.
How heavy is a gangplank? The internet does not answer
Don't
that
search for
very
that.
easily.
It's probably
It depends how long it is.
Sure.
It's a long gangplank. It's a big ship. I would say it's pretty heavy. It seems like you could. Yeah, it probably takes a couple people to maneuver it in place carefully. What are you going to do? Keeping in mind that several of your friends are on the other side of that gangplank.
It probably would burn. Just saying.
Oh my
Yeah,
lord.
I mean, the problem is that, you know, there are at least some people on the ship that I want to stay alive. So, I'm just going to shout over to Aquafina and say, come and give me a hand with this gangplank.
Okay.
And
Um,
I mean, what's the status of the people on the deck? Are they antagonistic towards us, or are they just on fire?
they're busy
People on the deck.
panicking.
People
I
on
mean,
decks.
I don't
Gonna
feel
beat up.
It's possible that, given that you have disguised yourself as their prisoner, not that necessarily everybody on the boat is aware that there is a prisoner and what that person looks like, you may attract some attention at some point, but that has not happened yet. It turns
Okay.
out in the hierarchy of things that people on this boat are concerned about, here's my list. Number 1 on the deck, conspicuously the captain's quarters is on fire. Number 2, somebody has caused some kind of explosion below decks. Number 3, some guy who kind of looks like maybe a guy we saw our boss bring onto the ship yesterday is yelling from the deck. That's pretty far down.
and there's also the barrels of gunpowder up against the door. Was that?
Yeah,
another?
I was lumping that in with the ship is on fire.
He's really focused on those barrels of gunpowder.
Mhm.
You notice that?
Well, I don't think there's anything to be gained by actively shooting people on the deck, because
You would gain a lot of attention.
Nah.
Is that a thing Janos Mir would do? Shoot
No,
people randomly on the
I
decks?
think
What would
Janos
Janos do?
Janos just wants his underlings to come off the ship.
He
I
wants
think.
him to come. It's
Well,
true.
I
That's all
mean,
he wants.
Off the
Yeah,
ship.
Micah.
Look, it's
welcome.
one thing when you're actually floating in the water. It's another when you're in dry dock. You don't want to be.
All right,
Oh, it's really uncomfortable when it's dry.
Janice, I think we will move on.
yeah, I've just shouted at Aquafina.
All right. Frank, you are adjacent to the brig. Langley and the not confusingly named Steve are having a discussion
What?
about whether they should leave their posts or not. Steve has taken 2 damage from Langley.
Yeah, I'm tempted to just tell them again that there's a fire on the deck and watch them beat each other to a pulp, but Frank has a mission in mind, and so he's going to take about half of his move steps back away from the door.
Mm.
Doot, 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 and he's going to say, "Excuse me, gentlemen." And he's just going to run straight at him and try and ram both of them through the door and knock the door over at the same time.
Nice.
All right.
Just a massive turtle bum rush.
All right.
I assume I should roll something.
Seems like it.
Roll for turtle power.
It's not good. What am I rolling? Something I should be adding to this 3?
I would say strength.
Oh, strength. I'm good at that.
All right.
Hmm.
I will roll strength for the 2 guards who are not, they're not good or bad at anything, basically.
Okay.
Well, I rolled a critical fail and a 4 for the guards.
Well, good news, everybody. I got a 6. So
All right. You know, a 6 is not a great number, but it
No.
beats a 4 and a critical fail. Frank, you rush forward, sending Langley and Steve spinning. Do you do any damage, or do you think you just knock them off their feet?
you tell me. You're the DM. I mean, I'm
what would
really
you-
aiming for the door. I'm just sort of using
what
them
would
as
your
a medium.
what would your unarmed attack do?
Well, usually it would do a 4, but if I use my claws, I get a 1d4 instead. So maybe I'm running with my claws extended.
Yeah, do that. Why not?
All right.
Why not?
So that's a 5 instead.
All right, you do
Slashing
5 damage to Langley and Steve. They're both badly hurt at this point. The door is, flies off its hinges because a large turtle hit it, and you come crashing into the brig.
Hello.
So within the brig is basically just a small, dark room with some straw on the ground, and also lying on the ground is one Janos Mir, the Beggar King. He is gagged bound, and rake thin. He's only been missing for like a day. He is unconscious, and
He was hoe thin earlier.
He forgot
either
to eat before.
either the both Janosmir and the brig smell unwell.
Frank looks down at him and says, "Come with me if you want to live."
He is unconscious, as previously noted.
Oh, he
still
says
says it.
to the unconscious body.
Also tied up and gagged.
Guess he doesn't want to live.
Yeah, it's a
Okay,
choice.
I'm leaving then. If you don't want to live, I'll go.
He looks like he is medically, in medical terms, in bad shape.
All right. Well, there's probably nothing more I can do on this turn unless
You
I
can
can-
pick up Janosmir if you want.
really.
Yeah.
All right, I'll do it.
All right. Please add one Janosmir to your inventory.
One Janosmir. I clean and jerk him. No, wait.
What was that meant? Okay.
That's a weightlifting term. So, I don't know why everyone thinks that's weird. That's what you do when you're lifting barbells.
It is absolutely.
Because everything sounds pervy to me now.
Well, when you add
Oh.
to it.
All right. Well, Frank.
Hey, I
you-
cleaned him first. It's not that dirty.
You have found Janosmir. Technically, you have the closest to contributing to this mission. I think things are about to get a little chaotic here. So I just want to be just your friend. James, everything you have done today has made my life difficult, but it has been some very good role playing. You gain inspiration.
Yeah.
Glupo, you have attempted to save orphans at great personal risk to yourself. You gain inspiration. Frank, you just busted down a door. You gain inspiration. Kakara, you went back into a ship that was on fire instead of just flying away with your magic wings. You gain inspiration. Aquafina, it's unclear what you've done to help, but you did set fire to a boat that was already on fire. You gain inspiration.
And also kept the secret of
Yeah.
Cammy.
The
this whole
ooze.
time.
Langley and Steve are going to attack.
As a turtle who lives in the sewer, I'm very
Yeah.
curious about that secret of the ooze. I wish you'd told me more about
Langley
it.
and
I
Steve
have
attack Frank with scimitars.
I have a hot second table talk question. If we already
Hmm.
had inspiration, do we get 2 inspiration?
I
No.
think you can't have more than one inspiration.
Yeah, but you
Sorry.
can.
Can I have
Yep.
super inspiration?
Yes, but it
one of
doesn't
the
mean
party
anything.
members didn't have inspiration, you
could
could
give
give
it.
it to them. What I've done in this situation where everybody was already inspired was I gave it to a member of the audience, to one of the listeners.
Can I give it to
out there.
Tony?
What a waste.
You
No,
can.
don't give
yeah,
it to
I will
Tony.
use that
He'll
against
use it
you.
against us.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Tiff,
Can I give it
You
to
know
one
what,
of
Tiff?
James 12
Tiff,
personalities?
too late, Tiff. I'll take it. And you know what? That was so generous. You gain inspiration again.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's a
What could go
very
wrong?
hot inspiration loop. Here we go.
Let me just check if Janosmir and Frank are going to get murdered by Langley and Steve. Frank,
Oh, the irony.
yeah, I know. Finally, Steve killed by Steve. You know that old woman at the carnival warned you.
We all knew it was inevitable.
These are not very intimidating attacks. I was real great at rolling when Glupo was trying to do stuff. Sorry, Glupo. I rolled a 7 and a 9 to hit Frank.
Frank looks down at him and says, "That tickles."
All right. What else is going on? Glupo, the guards that you have confused and intimidated with orphans disperse. However, Aquafina, you have gathered the attention of 2 guards, what with setting a barrel on fire, and they are converging on you. Aquafina, I rolled a 7 to hit and a 15 to hit.
Nope.
No, really? Wow. Okay. Well, they are in the fray with you. Aquafina.
Wait, I didn't have to
also
add those, did I? They were separate.
No, they
All
were
right, yeah.
separate.
Nope.
Yeah. So at this point, the barrel that you have set on fire explodes.
Yes.
And things are bad. Things are bad if you are inside the portion of the ship that was on fire. I think I need to look up gunpowder explosions. This won't get me on any list. The key is to
You're
add dungeons.
welcome.
The key is to add Dungeons and Dragons to every search so that you don't, that you have an alibi. How much damage does an
Airtight.
explosion of gunpowder inflict on characters? Say an 80-pound barrel, 1d6 per 10 pounds. Would it be incremented by distance away from the explosion? I am gonna do. Let's see here. Wow, that is a lot of d6.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And Aquafina, you had moved to safety. So, but let's just do. Where's my dice roller? I'm gonna say that Alexander Lexi Holtzman, the charming, charismatic villain that you are never going to meet in this adventure, is gonna take half of this because he's behind a door. But when we say half of this, he will take half of 29 damage. So he's having a day. But the structural integrity of the captain's cabin's quarters is now significantly diminished vis-a-vis the explosion, and you are perhaps several crewmen are sent flying, and Aquafina, you have kind of a front row seat to seeing a metal automaton kind of smash through the wreckage of the door and wall that is that was the captain's quarter of the Fury of Holtzman.
Oh shit.
Yes, it seems that you did set fire to a man with a killer robot. Perhaps your plan has a step 3 that James will tell that we'll circle back to.
I mean, what happens when the master dies?
Surely robots get more restrained at that point. Aquafina, you're on the deck. Things are on fire. There are explosions, several of which are your fault. When you set off one gunpowder barrel, it may be that other gunpowder barrels are going to explode soon. 2 guards foolishly are trying to apprehend you instead of fleeing for your life. What will you do?
Can I throw a dagger at one of the guards and backflip?
They're close
away
enough.
down
You could hand a dagger to one of the guards.
Okay. Well, how about this? How about I?
And if you try and get away from them, they will. Unless you have some special power to move, they're going to be able to attack you if you leave their area.
I do. I do. I legit do.
As a
Okay.
fighter,
I'm
yeah.
gonna line up.
Lots of legit people say legit.
I do. Like actually do. It's like a whole roll and everything. All right, so I'm gonna line them up. I have this giant spear. I'm going to try and stab one and hit the other, like through, right? Like,
all right.
Time.
Poor planning on their part, but they've never fought somebody with a trident before. Yep.
Shishka guard.
Then I'm going to backflip away as far as I can get down the gangplank.
Okay. You want to roll for that attack?
Yeah, let's do it. All right. So, because I have an action surge, you can take one additional action on your turn, one time for short rest. So I'll use my action surge to move away after my big.
You don't even need to do that. The tricky thing is, so it basically action surge gives you an extra attack or move if you wanted, but you already have a move if you wish to use a move.
Can I just use that to like move further away?
You could. They still are going to potentially have the chance to kill you. But did you roll an attack on them?
18 plus. What do I plus for attack?
You don't something, but you don't need it if you rolled an 18. So.
18 plus 3. Yeah.
All right. You impale them with your trident. Is that what it is?
Yep.
Please roll damage.
Well, it's kind of a spear, but we'll pretend.
All right.
Trident.
The art makes it look. I guess is it a trident? A spear?
It's just a really fancy spear.
Oh, okay. I saw those as things.
I carved it myself.
Ooh.
All right. 1d6 plus 1 piercing for 5.
All right. Both of those guards are regretting that they noticed you. And you head toward the gangplank?
Yep. I say, ha! And then I backflip down to the gangplank.
Galupo, you are no longer encumbered by guards. It's just you and 18 orphans.
All right, kids, everybody line up toe to heel.
Well, how much damage did my guards get?
I did 5 damage to each of them.
Oh, okay. Did they get red dots?
Nope.
Not quite bloody.
All right.
Not quite.
Let's make our way up out of this hold and get off this burning ship.
All right, you lead 18 orphans up to the deck. It is chaos. There is fire. There are barrels of gunpowder rolling about. There are people on fire, some of them rolling about. One guy is on fire and climbing up in the rigging. That seems like a bad idea. There is a killer robot that has burst out of the captain's quarters. Your friend Aquafina is here, and there are guards who have noticed that you are rescuing a bunch of orphans. Unclear. They may have to make a morality check on their turn at this point, technically against orders, but also the ship is on fire, so slightly less conspicuous than it was when you were below the hold, below the decks doing that. I would let you take a second move if you wanted and lead the orphans off the
That's exactly what Glupo's gonna do.
All right.
He's like, oh hell no, let's go this way. Everybody,
all
just
right,
look
everybody,
away
hold
from
hands.
that area.
Yep.
Don't look at the big scary robot.
18 orphans
Mr.
could
Gunther,
definitely
why is
move
that
a
man on
gangplank.
fire? Yeah. So you arrive on the other side of the gangplank, Glupo, with your 18 orphans. There's a very fancy carriage there. There is also, perhaps you were surprised to see, Janos Mir. Give me a quick perception check on Janos Mir. Cammy, roll another deception check.
How many orphans do you think we could fit into one carriage?
Oh, 18. They pack
if we
tight.
pushed real hard.
I rolled 20.
I rolled an 8.
All right, Janos Mir is standing there looking surprisingly well nourished.
I give you a high five.
Honestly, rested. Yeah.
If Glupo sees Janos Mir standing there, he's like, oh well, we've done what we needed to do.
And
so
you rescued 18 orphans. So
everybody go ahead and hop in the carriage.
All right.
Glupo will stand outside of the carriage. Stay in there no matter what you hear.
The Just slap the horses and let them take off with the
footman is unsure what to do as 18 filthy orphans crowd into the carriage. Kakara,
with their
were
supple,
below
sexy
decks.
feet.
You saw.
That's why he's distracted. He's a
footman.
There's got to be a line.
I still hate it.
There's got to be a line, Steve. There's got to be a line.
It's back there somewhere.
Kakara, you've seen Glupo lead the orphans to safety. Down the hall, you see Frank with apparently Janos Mir. That might be confusing to you based on other things that you've seen. Janos Mir is in a fight, sort of. I mean, it's Frank is present for Langley and Steve trying to hit him. You don't know that they're named Langley and Steve. That's information I've given you.
I see. I feel like I need to come and help expedite this fight, and I go over and give Frank a hand, or perhaps Langley and Steve. No, I attack.
This is not the time.
Both of them with my claws. Maybe the
with claws too. Definitely not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm dangerous. So I roll an 18, and I have 2 claws, so I can. And a 12.
Those will both hit. Or are you focusing those on one each, or
let's do one each.
Okay. Langley and Steve do not even know that what's happening as a large bird suddenly attacks them, clawing at them.
And they get each 1d4 plus 2. So one gets 6 damage and the other one gets 5 damage.
You kill Langley and Steve because
the best character's dying.
Steve had taken Steve would be alive if Langley hadn't slapped him. And then Langley and Steve are just there. They're wailing on Frank with their swords, but they're just like hitting on his thing. On his shell? Would you like to describe how Langley and Steve live their last moments on this boat?
Well, I go in because I'm sort of like go at the same time, and I just like rake my claws across their faces and their chests and just like rip their hearts out.
Oh my Jesus.
Wow. And so Langley and Steve are no more. It's as if we barely got to know them.
To be honest, I'm not even sad. It's a bit of a relief, really.
Wow. The automaton that some people might know is a glitter man is next. This is a construct created by the Artificers Guild. There were many of them involved in an attempted conspiracy to take over Waterdeep that unfortunately led to a fire that burned down most of the town. Honestly, people are still really shaken up by that, and you'd think that some people would think about that before they set more fires, because in addition to the property damage, the loss of life, there is deep scarring to the psyche of the people of Waterdeep, and you just think that some people would be more mindful of that. But this hulking automaton is on a mission. It clanks across the deck in the direction of Aquafina. Aquafina, you are like halfway along the gangplank as the gangplank shakes and trembles as this big robot stomps in your direction, and this robot is going to punch at you twice with its big metal fists.
Oh, jeez.
I have rolled a 23 and a 8.
The 23 hits.
All right.
Fisted.
5 bludgeoning damage as you just get pummeled in the ribs with a big robot fist.
Okay. Do I have any? No.
You have any not pummeled things?
No, I'm pummeled. I'm well pummeled.
Man, you got to get
All
in
right.
pretty deep to hit the ribs.
Oh, that's the sound you make when they hit the ribs.
Mm.
Yeah.
Too deep, Steve.
I'm not going to ask
So,
how you know that.
I will mention that the Glitterman is
lady doesn't
very
kiss and tell.
tarnished, kind of bent and scorched. So though this big robot would be normally quite the intimidating foe, he does look like he has been slightly exploded.
Wait, what's he made out of?
Metal.
Okay. Do I have a do I get like some sort of attack action because he attacked me or no?
Nope.
Okay.
You will, not until your turn.
Cool.
Cammy, or should we say Janusmir, you are next to a carriage full of orphans. Glupo is there. Aquafina is not far away on a gangplank fighting a giant, or not giant, slightly larger than man-sized robot. I figure he's like 6'5".
I figure the pulling the
He's at least
gangplank-
6'3", but he tells everybody 6'5".
I can't pull the gangplank away because Aquafina's on it.
Also,
Pretty
several of your
athletic.
yeah.
What were you going to say? Were you going to say
just-
several of the party are still on the ship?
I was going to remind you of that.
I'm aware. One of whom is trying to spoil my perfect plan.
You don't know that. You do not know that one person or two are actually trying to complete the mission that it turns out you have been sabotaging.
So instead, I guess I will shoot at the robot with my
All right.
short bow. And I rolled 24.
That will hit.
And I do. Oh, hang on. He's next to. Oh, I get to do a sneak attack as well because you're next to.
Because Aquafina is next to.
Yeah. So
Yes. The Glitter Man is not expecting to be attacked by Janus Mir standing on the docks.
Okay, I did 6 damage plus 3 damage, 9 damage.
All right. In addition to its already partially exploded state, the Glitter Man is not looking so great. One of its arms is moving all kind of herky-jerky, and there are some sparks coming out of its neck. Frank,
Yes.
you are holding one Janus Mir. Kakara has just murdered the 2 people that pathetically tried to attempt to kill you. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're there.
I was going to ask how much damage it would do if I connected on one of these guards with an unconscious Beggar King, but that's a somewhat academic question now. So.
I think what D6 of bludgeoning damage to each.
Okay, that's
I mean,
pretty good.
You could do it. You could
Could I
try
just
it.
hold him out like airplane, spin him around, and hit 2 at the same time? Because that would be
Yeah.
good.
I mean, he
It's
might take some
academic now, they're
damage
both-
himself, but
Yeah,
that wouldn't be a
I would.
problem.
I said a D6 to each.
Well, look, I'd hold him by the head so his feet would hit the guard.
do not do that.
All right, Frank sees Kakara. He says, "Hello."
I know we have not invented chiropractors yet, but still.
Oh, he's never
I
felt
say,
better.
Who the fuck is that? Because I.
Frank looks down and says, "Oh, I got the Beggar King," and he starts running towards the exit to the hold. So I assume I need to maybe double run in order to get far enough to like get my head out of the
Yeah, we'll say you can get
Oh.
up on deck with 2 moves. How's that?
Okay, Frank gets up there and he holds up Janos Mir in both arms and says, "I got the Beggar King." And then he looks down and sees Cammy, who appears as the Beggar King, and says, "What?"
Yep.
That's it.
All right. Let's see. Next is the guards. Well, several of the guards have been murdered. Several of them have been chased off by Glupo's deceptive magic. Several of them were lightly impaled by Aquafina. What do they do? I think one's going to run for Aquafina and one's going to run for Frank. These guards are injured but not bloodied, if bloodied were a thing in 5e.
Frank says, "Hello."
Frank, guard comes for you with a scimitar. This guard rolls a 13.
Fortunately, I have an unconscious shield I can use.
Aquafina, I rolled a 19 to hit you.
It's
You are going to take 4 damage, Aquafina. Aquafina, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm not great.
How are you in terms
at
of
what?
health? Yeah.
I'm 11 out of 20.
All right. Next up, the coming through the hole that the robot punched in the door is a very well, at one time, distinguished looking nobleman. At this point, slightly exploded nobleman. He is dressed ostentatiously like an admiral. He's got like a little bat fiend symbol around his neck because he is of Barovian heritage.
Sorry, did you say distinguished or extinguished, or is he still on fire?
He hasn't been extinguished yet.
He is smoldering.
Good.
But the art I have shared
He
with
does
you
have dashing good looks. I would say he's smoldering.
Yeah, if we could have afforded it, we would have gotten Lex Friedman to play this character, but he was out of budget. Maybe he'll overdub all my lines later. I don't think he is smiling as the character art that I depict him shows him.
Well, some of the flesh on his lips might have burnt away. He might have an
into kind of a
involuntary
a
smile at this point.
And he is quite perturbed. He says, "Aha! I'm in this adventure too." You dragon. You people have ruined everything. And he is looking around for a target. He is wielding a vicious looking hand crossbow. And I'm going to say that Frank, he notices that Frank is holding one Janos Mir. He also notices a Janos Mir on the far side of the gangplank. This is a real prisoner's dilemma here. I'm going to roll for this. Odds to Frank because he's holding a Janos Mir. Even shoot the Janos Mir that seems to be standing on his own ability. Odds, Frank it is. Frank, vicious crossbow attack on you.
What?
I have rolled a 21 to hit.
I don't think there's anything I can do to diminish that.
You are going to take 8 piercing damage.
Dude.
Gets you right in the arm.
Ouch.
How are you?
I'm okay. I got the Beggar King. See?
Aquafina, you are on the gangplank. A Glitterman and a guard are engaged with you. The guard has been impaled. The Glitterman has been lightly exploded, and then other bad stuff happened to him. What will you do?
Okay, I have some things.
This is the time to use them.
Okay. I'm going to use all the things now instead of the last time, which I didn't actually end up using them. I have a decanter of endless water, and this Glitterman's made of metal, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I am going to take out my decanter of endless water, and I'm close enough to the Glitterman that I can like pour it on him, right?
Wait, are you going to sail this ship?
What?
Let's go.
Yeah,
We're out of dry dock now, baby.
You can make this dry dock wet.
Oh yeah. I'm good. Wait, I might change my mind here.
I think that might take several hours. Have you ever tried to fill a swimming pool with like a garden hose?
I mean,
boy,
how much endless water can I make?
We got there eventually, though.
It's endless, Tip, but I think it takes a long time.
Wait. You can use an action to remove the stopper and speak one of 3 command words, whereupon the amount of fresh water or salt water, your choice, dealer's choice, pours out of the flask. The water stops pouring at the start of your next turn. So I could either say stream, which produces 1 gallon of water, fountain, which produces 5 gallons of water, or
oh my God, yes.
or geyser, which produces 30 gallons of water that gushes forth in a geyser 30 feet long and 1 foot wide.
All right, just to answer this academic question, the dry dock would take several times more than 30 gallons of water.
Okay, but still, okay. As a bonus action while holding the decanter, you can aim the geyser at a creature you see within 30 feet of you. The
I've
target must
already had a
succeed
bath today.
on a D13 strength saving throw or take 1d4 bludgeoning damage and fall prone.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Instead of creature, you can target an object, blah, 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 blah. All right, we're definitely targeting creatures.
All right.
So with all of that information, I am using my action to unstop the flask.
Yep.
I am going to say geyser.
Why not? Go big. Yep.
Why would you go small when you can go big?
Yep.
So, and
Well,
that will
sometimes
produce
you don't have a choice,
30
all right?
gallons of water.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like everyone kind of like near me, right?
You're just gonna fire hose them. Does it say more than? Does it say how many
not.
objects you can target with this?
It says just at a creature you see within 30 feet of you. It doesn't really say.
All right. I think I'll let you get the glitter man and the guard.
Sweet.
Does the glitter man pull out a chair and sort of sit down with his chest raised in the air?
And I'm also curious if there's going to be a
What
rust
a
factor with
feeling.
the glitter.
So I will tell you. Let me ask you a question: salt water or fresh water?
I'm going to go salt because it's more corrosive.
Let
And
me
I
tell
know-
you, I would have totally gone and told you about the rust factor, but literally the Dragon Friends, such lovable Australian comedians, have thought ahead, and in the stat block for the Glitter Man, they have indicated the Glitter Man has the factor delicate clockwork and is deathly vulnerable to salt water.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Let me.
So, but let's find out if he gets hit or not, right? So,
Seems like the perfect thing to bring aboard a ship.
Yeah.
So I very discreetly pop my cork and I say geyser, and
That is discreet.
it just floods all over. That's what I just
all over. All right.
unleash the fury of my
You are
decanter of endless water.
flooding this dry dock.
Yeah.
So what did you
Decanter
say?
of Bukkake.
He's very
Stand
wet.
back, everybody. Stay out of the splash zone.
The decanter had stats for somebody, what they have to make to avoid getting hit by it. What was it? They have to make a dex-
Let's see. Your target must succeed on a D13 strength saving throw.
All right.
Oh, DC
Rolling
13.
strength. Rolling strength for the Glitter Man first. The Glitter Man rolled a 15, which means they don't get knocked down. But I think they're still just wet, right?
Or see, they have to succeed or take 1d4 bludgeoning damage. So yeah, they're still wet.
They're still wet.
He still got
guard, the guard failed. So the guard takes how much damage?
1d4 bludgeoning damage and falls prone.
Roll 1d4 bludgeoning damage for the guard.
Okay. 3.
All right, the guard is bloodied at this point. The guard also just got knocked off his feet by a fire hose while standing on a gangplank. The guard is going to have to do a save to not just fall off the gangplank onto the dry dock.
I prefer the term
The guard
geyser.
sorry. The guard is clinging to the gangplank, has not fallen to his death, but is, doing poorly. According to the rules here, when the Glitter Man is doused with salt water, it takes 2d6 acid, the equivalent of 2d6 acid damage. Can you roll me 2d6 damage there?
I sure can. 5 and 5.
All right. And is paralyzed for several rounds. The Glitter Man just becomes kind of sparking, and I'm just going to say, for theatrical sake, since he's real in trouble, collapses off the side of the gangplank, and you just hear the sound of a laundry basket full of pots and pans being dumped down a mine shaft as he clatters back and forth between the hull of the ship and the sides of the dry dock, ending up beneath the ship. Well played, Aquafina. That was probably the turning point in the battle, was using salt water against the horrible metal monster. I think it's Glupo's turn now.
Now it's liquid metal.
Glupo, you are safely on the dock. You are next to a carriage full of orphans who just sound like they have never been in a carriage before and are having the time of their life. There's one very distressed footman, not sure about what to do, especially like he may have noticed that his boss is now on the deck shooting people with a crossbow and six. That may be in his future. What would you like to do?
He's just gonna watch. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah,
fair enough.
I don't. He's not gonna.
I'm just clearing the map around to make it clear. At this point, I believe there is one guard clinging to the gangplank, one guard fighting Frank, and one Alexander Lexi Holtzman up on the deck of his smoldering ship, firing crossbow bolts at all of you. All right, you good?
Yeah, because in case somebody comes over to the, orphans, he wants to be here.
You'll protect the orphans.
He's not just being cold.
All right. Kakara, I believe you are next. I believe you are still below decks.
I am.
If you double move, you can get back up onto the deck itself and no longer be, you know it's starting to get kind of warm and smoky where you are in the ship.
Yeah, and that is what I'm going to do is like pop my head up and probably like be over here by Frank or something.
Sounds great.
Hello.
The glitter man would be next, but you murdered him. Just a robot doing his job. Frank.
Hello.
You are next to a guard. You are carrying one Janus mirror.
Yeah, so I've got all sorts of straps and anchor points on the back of my shell that I use to sort of hold on my various weapons. You suppose if I reached back there and got my axe, I could reach back with my other hand and strap Janos mirror to the back of my shell so I don't have to, drop him?
Do you think your shell is built for carrying one Janus mirror?
I mean, I've got a great axe back there, and as you mentioned, he is rake thin. I mean, I could very easily strap a rake back there.
It'll be okay. Sure. You fashion Janus mirror to your back.
I love it. I've got him.
I kind of imagine Frank's a big guy, right? I feel like you could have Janus mirror over your shoulder and just be swinging your axe around and not really carrying the Janus mirror is there.
Two-handed weapon, unfortunately. So I can't really,
that's harder.
Yeah, so I got a Beggar King Papoose on the back of my shell here now. And
title.
I'm going to grab my two-handed axe and take a swing at this guard that rudely has stepped up to me here.
All right. I think you know at this point that guards' armor classes are 12.
That's a crit. So
nice.
What do I do? Double D12? This could go badly for this guard.
Double D12.
It's
double D12.
It's unlikely the guard is surviving this turn.
There's a 12. 17 damage on that guard.
That would have killed several fully healthy guards. All right, the guard goes down in a swirl of blood as you battle axe him a question. That was your. So I think you've probably done the equivalent of two actions at that point because you've stowed Janos mirror and slayed a guard.
Two actions? I'm not supposed to be able to do that.
Well, we'll count your move action as a stowing action.
All right, a stowing action. I like that. I appreciate that. Let me see if I have anything to do as a bonus move. I don't think so. Nope.
All right.
Let's call that a turn.
Several more guards arrive on deck just as another keg of gunpowder explodes, sending them flying. Several of the cannons were loaded and are now are being set off, sending cannonballs flying out into the ship line, hitting several of the other ships in dry dock as the chaos and carnage that you have laid here expands to really spread into it's no longer a one ship catastrophe. Good job, everybody, especially James. Lexi Holtzman is next. He kind of saunters down the steps as his ship burns behind him. He loads his crossbow and kind of looks at you, Frank, with kind of a weird smile on his face that suggests that this is a man who is heavily concussed, and he is going to fire another crossbow bolt at you.
Well, he's about to be even more cussed then.
Well, I have rolled a not so impressive 12 to hit.
Yeah, that just reflects off of my shell.
All right.
It makes a nice sort of throaty clang noise when it hits. Boing.
Aquafina, you are next. An unnamed guard clings to the gangplank and probably to the metaphorical dear life at your feet.
So is the water still around from my geyser of water?
I mean, I think the gangplank's pretty wet at this point.
Okay, I have a cantrip called Shape Water that lets you instantaneously move or otherwise change the flow of water as you.
And you literally have a vessel of infinite water, basically, right?
They work really well together.
Smart.
Yeah, that's some classic water bending work.
I thought of that. Yeah, yeah, that whole
Synergy.
water.
Tiff, I don't like this new version of you where you know how your powers work and then you use them together. Remember when you would just remember early Tiff when you would just cast fog on things? So you come so far.
So I am going to use the water from my decanter of endless water, which I just used, and I am going to let's say cast the flow of this water to knock that guard off of the gangplank.
Okay.
And I'm also hoping that the water will continue to cascade and possibly settle kind of like below where Lexi's hanging out. Maybe as a slip trap for later.
He's pretty far away, so that seems unlikely to happen, but you could try. Does it give you things to roll for attacking this guard with water?
Not really. I just kind of let's see.
When in doubt, we'll have you roll an unarmed attack. And you'll have advantage.
It doesn't really cause any damage. It doesn't have enough force to cause damage.
Oh.
So maybe this isn't a good idea.
But
no,
the
you spoke too soon. I don't know how my powers work.
Gravity
you
cause damage.
You could also just hit him with your spear.
Yeah, I guess I could do that. All right. I was trying to be fancy. I did that one awesome move. I was all
You're like, I'm gonna drown you slowly with water, or also this spear.
Super high on my water powers.
I know.
All right, so I actually do perform that cantrip and just like kind of get him a little bit extra wet, and then I stab him with my spear.
Oh yeah, you literally water.
I realize I can't actually do it.
And then stab him with a spear. All right, roll your spear attack. You have an advantage because he is clinging to the gangplank in front of you.
It's a 13.
You hit him. Roll damage.
Let me get my 4. 6 actually. That's a 6. Plus
Would you like
1,
to describe
7.
how you murdered this poor guard who was really just trying to do his job and keep people from blowing up this ship?
He is sopping wet, and the blood is pooling on the water. Like
this is the worst fraternity initiation this guy's ever been to.
It's like the water's turning pink, and I give him a stab, and he falls. And it seems like he's gonna have like a splash landing, but there's not enough water, and he just
he just hits the damp wood at the bottom.
Yeah, it's a splash landing of a different kind.
It's real bad.
Kind of a splorch.
Yeah,
splorch landing.
Aquafina, if you needed to move, you could do so now. You're no longer in combat with people. If you wanted to head in one direction or the other on the gangplank.
I'm gonna go head down towards
safety.
The fake the fakey over here.
Fako smear. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Glupo, it's back around to you. You're still safe. You and your orphans, Aquafina, someone you believe to be Janosmere.
I can't believe it's my turn again already.
I know.
Glupo they're all handling things, and he doesn't want these orphans. He worked so hard to get out of the place to get hurt, so he's hanging out still because he wants them to come work for the Thieves Guild.
All right. Kakara, you are up on the deck right next to Frank and the true Janosmere. There are no longer any guards with you, though there is one Alexander Lexi Holtzman firing crossbow bolts in your general direction from the other side
and
of the
I
deck.
don't like that. So I am, as a bonus action, going to cast Hail of Thorns, which means that when I use my crossbow, there will be a hail of thorns that will cause 1d10 piercing damage, or 2d10. No, 1d10. I'm at level 1. And
I think are you at level 2?
We're at level 2.
The spell is at level 1.
Oh, spell level 1.
Yeah.
Does he get to roll anything to make that not happen?
Yes, he will have to roll a 1 dexterity 12, but I think I actually have to shoot the arrow first and hit him.
It depends. Usually for spells, either have an attack or they just happen and the target makes a saving.
It says the next time you hit a creature with a ranged weapon attack before the spell ends,
okay.
It will create. So I think I don't know if it adds or changes my attack.
What's the name of this spell?
It's the Hail of Thorns.
I don't think I know this one.
It's a ranger spell.
I assume that's a bonus action then. If it's
it is a bonus action to cast before you shoot.
Yeah, so it's just
Got
a
it.
regular attack plus you get extra damage if you hit, basically.
Okay.
Okay.
So I will roll a
regular attack.
15 to hit.
That will hit Alexander Lexi Holtzman.
All right.
Okay, so then I get to do the regular 1d8
Yep, 'cause
damage.
So and what is, I forget,
Okay.
your range attack is like a crossbow or something?
It is a crossbow.
So first you hit him with a crossbow and then a hail of thorns comes firing in after the crossbow bolt?
Yes.
That
So
seems
it's 11 damage for the regular hit. And then the d10 would be 4. But if he does a DC 12 dexterity, he could half that.
He did. So he halves that, so he gets...
So it's 13 total.
Okay. He is not looking well. He is looking like a man who has been half exploded, shot with a crossbow, and then someone rubbed thorns into the wounds. And yet he still kind of smiles with a grimace through a half exploded face as he's reloading that crossbow bolt, reloading that crossbow and waving it in the direction of Frank Kakara and the true Janos Bear. Kakara, you do have a move action if you'd like to.
I think I'm going to start, I'm going to fly and probably can get to at least on the gangplank.
I think you could get onto the dock if you wanted.
Okay.
So. All right.
That's what I do then.
Cammy, or as the slightly more confusingly called Janos Mir, you and many of your party are now in safety on the dock. In fact, really the only person left on the ship is the person who might endanger your whole identity theft thing. Identity theft is not a joke. Millions of people. Yeah.
Reference acknowledged.
Yep.
Cammy.
I mean, I feel a certain
You just have to murder one innocent turtle to pull this off.
Hello.
Lupo, get on the
Except
dock with
I've
us.
seen.
Also, everyone who sees you murder the innocent turtle.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And anyone who
I've
sees
seen
you
the two
murder
Janos.
anyone that sees you
So-
murder those people.
Frank is Frank's good, so he's okay. He is one of our party. So let me just check. A sneak attack. It's any enemy that is within 5 feet of a party member.
Oh, you can take a shot at Janos Mir on my back.
You got it.
I had a feeling.
No.
Oh,
Frank
I
is
shout
extremely likely to think you're shooting at him.
I
by the
don't
way.
think. I mean, literally, he is. You're shooting someone attached to him.
Well, this could,
I also am super sus right now.
this could be a good
Yeah.
point to use inspiration.
And
I shout.
let me just, Kakara, you should make a some kind of perception check on what's going on here.
I haven't done it yet.
Well,
Okay,
on the fact that
well,
there's
lucky
two
for
Janos mirror. She
Thanos.
just ran from one Janos mirror to the other. So,
I have a 7, so lucky for him.
all right.
Okay.
Well, you
shout.
know
just
something's going on.
confused. I'm like,
I
I don't know
shout-
what,
For
what
all
the
you know,
hell.
perhaps Janos mirror has a twin.
I shout, kill the imposter, pull out my short bow, and shoot or attempt to shoot the fake Janos Mir decoy that Frank has.
Now I feel
Well-
like this should be against my AC, considering that he's basically shooting
Yes,
at
I
me.
will. I agree.
What's your AC?
Uh-oh.
17.
Okay.
Inter-party combat.
I
don't like it when
rolled a
dad and dad
16
fight.
plus 5, so I rolled a 21.
Okay.
Okay, a short bow does 1d6 plus 3, and then I get another d6 from the sneak attack.
Whoa. Sneak attack means that you're counting Frank as an ally.
Frank
think
is an
that-
ally.
I don't
Fake
think Frank.
Janos Mir is an enemy.
Frank
In this fight against the dude strapped on my back, I wouldn't call myself
Yeah.
an ally.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, I don't.
I
think
would
so,
call this.
James.
I don't think Janos Mir was expecting this.
Janos,
He's unconscious.
He's unconscious.
He's unconscious. He's expecting
That's
nothing.
fair, though. I guess it would if you attack someone who's asleep. Is that not a sneak attack?
It is sneaky.
Sneak attack is a sneak. It's sneaky. Sneak attack has specific conditions to it, I believe. No.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Well, let's see where I get with this.
Yeah. So I mean, I will also say he's unconscious. He's already extremely hurt, and it sounds like you just hit him.
Yeah.
How much damage?
I haven't done it yet.
Okay.
I did 8 damage.
All right, Frank.
Oh boy.
I don't think you are a certified turtle doctor, but Janos Mir appears to be dying at this point because he is unconscious. You have been carrying him for a little while here. He's been through a fight, showed no sign of waking up, and is now bleeding pretty profusely from an arrow wound in his side.
And I
he is
shout,
at -8 hit points.
I shout, Frank, he's not real.
That's going to confuse the poor turtle. Damn it!
You know what? All right, I think that. So I'm just going to encourage Glupo, Kakara, and maybe even Aquafina to reflect on the events that are happening here. You all have a variety of information about what is and is not happening. Cammy, you can make a deception check at this point. I think Frank either has advantage to his check or you have disadvantage to your deception. Let's say you have disadvantage to your deception because Frank knows what Frank did. Frank, give me a perception check. Cammy, give me a deception check.
All right.
I rolled 17 and a 19.
All right.
And wait a minute, do I have an advantage here or not?
You do
disadvantage.
not. He had disadvantage was how I played it.
Okay, well, I'm dead set on the idea that I've saved the day by rescuing Janos Mir from the prison. So I'm going to use my inspiration to try and
All
get
right.
advantage.
Using your inspiration on a roll against not me, not the dungeon master, but against James Thompson, your nominal friend and ally.
Alas, that's only a 17.
All right. I mean, I think, Frank, you are still very confused. You pulled Janos Mir out of a brig. So
and now this dude's shooting at me.
Yeah, I think at the very best, things are confusing. Sorry, that took a while. Frank, it is your turn. Alexander Lexi Holtzman is still shooting at you with a crossbow bolt from across the deck. You're carrying Janos Mir. Safety is but one move action away on the other side of a gangplank.
Yeah, but Frank is he's kind of single-minded in things, and he's a little pissed off right now. Although he does say, "What the fuck?" at Cammy, who just shot an arrow at him. But he's going to lumber across the deck towards Lexi and say, "You stole my boss, you smoldering dick." And he's going to take a swing at him with his great axe.
That's a hot shaft.
And he's going to do so recklessly.
Oh.
Ooh.
He probably doesn't need to because that was a 17. But yeah, 17. I'm sorry, make that 19.
You cleave at Alexander Lexi Holtzman with your battle axe. You want to roll some damage there?
Yes, I do. Oh God, it's a 1. So I ended up doing 4 damage to him.
How much damage?
4.
Do you know how many hit points he had, Steve Lutz?
4.
Yes. So Frank
Nice.
lumbers across the thing. Frank, as you are lumbering, Lexi says, "Oh, you, Frank, is it? We're not so different, you and I." And then you get much closer. You're holding a battle axe, and he says, "No, you haven't seen the last of Lexi Holtzman." And then, what do you do, Steve?
I swing my axe at his midsection, and the legs stay exactly where they're at, but the torso spins around and around and goes flying off the side of the ship.
And then one of the cannons explodes and hits that.
Yes.
But the legs stay exactly where they're at. That's really hard to do.
The legs stay exactly where they're at as more things explode on the deck, and you use this moment to saunter off to the safety of the docks. You arrive back at the carriage with not one, but two Janos mirrors. Effectively, I mean, that's like twice the reward, right?
That's true. I did the math.
Yeah. And pile atop, we'll say you have to ride on top of the carriage, for the carriage is stuffed with orphans. The footman has fled away, so one of you will have to drive the carriage, and you maneuver the carriage through the bustling streets of Waterdeep in the night as people are screaming and panicking as much of the docks is now on fire. A second fire that will ravage through Waterdeep, leaving many without homes, without work, and psychologically scarred for generations to come.
Hooray!
All in the name of rescuing one Janos Mir, who also perhaps you are also who may perhaps get murdered when somebody is looking the other way. Now is the time for an awkward conversation atop the carriage ride between Janos Mir and Frank, who has actually rescued Janos Mir.
Son, you've got this decoy.
I rescued you. You're on my back.
I hate to tell you, you got the wrong person. I escaped myself with my bare hands.
Oh God, bare hands.
Where's Cammy?
Cammy, she had to go.
Wait, we need to go back and get Cammy.
We should get Cammy.
Let's go back.
I don't think we should leave Cammy behind.
We don't leave one of our team behind.
She had an important mission for me.
Let's
I
go.
saw her leave.
Well, what was it?
Are
you sure?
She's gone to hunt down all the Janos Mir impersonators in the city. There are
I
dozens
can agree on
now.
that. She told me. She told me.
And
why are you still trying to lie to us, Cammy? Or if you could just tell us, reveal your plan.
Have you seen through Cammy at this point, or are you still?
Yes, no, I haven't.
Okay,
but I'm just asking James. You know,
I don't know. I mean, how do we want to play
I feel
this?
like Cammy doesn't trust us.
I think you have but one carriage ride before you report to Gribbits, and this conversation gets more complicated.
That's going to be interesting.
Okay, so I pull my hood down, I pull it up, and it is in fact Leon Lyerson.
Twist!
Holy shit!
And he says,
Two blades?
Where did Cammy go? We still need to go back and get Cammy.
Okay.
It's good to see you, though, Leon. I thought you died.
In that
So,
accident.
Frank, I've got good news and bad news.
Okay.
The
Give me
good
the
news
bad news
is
first.
you're going to get a big reward. You're going to get
Okay.
nicer quarters.
I like that.
You're going to get a
Wait,
promotion.
I live in my shell. It doesn't matter.
We'll get you a bigger shell or a shinier shell. We'll
Ooh.
gold plate your shell.
Okay.
There's
what's the
only
good news?
one thing that you need to do, and that's kill that fake Janos Mir.
Glupo steps in and says, okay, so here's what I need from you. I need your word that will take on all, I'm losing that accent. I don't know what it is anymore. That will take on all of those, the orphans, and train them to be the best thieves and tricksters the guild has ever seen. I mean,
I think that is the best idea. I think that, what better to have in the Thieves Guild than orphans that no one will suspect of crimes, even though orphans always commit crimes.
I also need a 5-gallon tub of cottage cheese.
Done.
All right, I'm down.
I just want some shiny things and lots. I'll help Glupo run Glupo's School of Thieves, orphan thieves.
Anything you
Mike
find
says,
in the Thieves Guild that's not nailed down is yours.
If this
Awesome.
Janos Mir is fake, then the real one's still out there. We'd better go get him. Let's go get Janos Mir. Let's go, everybody.
He's back
go
at the
rescue
hideout,
him.
Frank.
Let's
Let's just go back to the hideout and he'll be there.
Oh,
I want to check the real fake Janos Mir's pockets.
I thought you were going to check his health.
It seems like that when he was imprisoned in the Fury of Holtzman, a ship that you have burned down. They relieved him of any valuable items along the way.
Also, always good to check.
I think at this point we need to do some sort of a contested check to decide how this gets resolved.
All right.
You seem all on board.
It sounds like most people are on board except Frank. Everyone is on board except Frank.
Frank is just
he
Because
doesn't
his
like
own
this game.
morality.
Frank, feel free to roll something.
Frank is very single-minded.
Could be wisdom or
Wisdom, you
intelligence.
say. I like wisdom a little better. Let's
Okay.
do wisdom.
And yeah.
Okay.
Perhaps, I mean, I think to a certain extent you should have some agency in how you want to role play it, but perhaps you could be swayed a little bit. James, why don't you give us, say, a charisma check?
Well, I think I role play Frank as basically very easily swayed, except he's
Gotcha.
also, once he gets like a mission in mind or an idea in mind, he's also very single-minded.
Is this persuasion?
Well, just give us a straight up charisma check.
Okay.
We'll do it charisma versus wisdom.
I got 16.
I also got a 16.
I will use my inspiration.
Wow. Who knew that the greatest enemy of this adventure would be James?
I got 70.
Okay.
Frank says, okay, and he throws the Janos Mir corpse off the side of the cart.
It's not a corpse.
Not a
It
corpse
is now.
It is no. It makes a horrible noise as as he clatters to the cobblestones of the road, never to be seen again in the night as you ride away. A low-flying seagull swoops low to tell you what a bad idea all this is, and then leaves.
Frank does say, as the credits start to roll, we should really go find the real Janos Mir.
I pull
Oh
down
my God.
my robe and I pull it back up and I'm Janos Mir and I go, I'm here.
I found him.
In a post-credit scene, you are back in the Waterdeep Guild of Beggars, Thieves, and Tricksters. Gribbits, the goblin lawyer, is beside himself with joy. You did it! You bloody done it! He's back, and he's smells different than he's ever done it before. He's alive, he says to you, James. He claps his hand. Meat and drink for our brave adventurers.
Make it so.
Nothing happens because you do not have people on staff to do that kind of thing.
I pour everybody water.
Frank goes off to get some meat and drink for everybody.
There's water. There is water for everyone as the sewer water flows freely. Gribbits turns to you and says, "Good job." And so we conclude our adventure because they have found Janos Mir. The lesson learned.
Question mark?
If someone goes missing in Waterdeep, someone who the guards will be no helpful, the law and order will neither be law nor order. If you need someone to find someone, and you can find those people, come to the Waterdeep Guild of Thieves, Tricksters, and Beggars, and they will impersonate that person and murder the person you are actually looking for, because we have learned
But also
nothing.
save orphans.
And honestly, there are now some very complicated implications for future adventures I had planned for this group. Thank you, James. All that is left to do.
But we
is
don't know
me
for
to-
sure that Janos Mir is dead at this point. He's just
No.
in the dust somewhere and
just in
severely
a gun.
wounded.
Surely, by comic book logic, he is dead, and we will never see him again.
Of course.
All that is left to do is thank my adventurers for joining us on what has truly been a unique experience. James Thompson, you were here.
I told you I'd circle back.
I regret many things. Tiff Arment, always a pleasure.
Thank you. This was fucking great, you guys.
Annette Wierstra, it was always,
Caw.
thank you so much. Micah Sargent,
I learned a lot, none of it good.
yep. And last but not least, Steve Lutz.
I feel like I didn't fucking shitting cuss enough during this fucking adventure. So
Oh, wow. Yeah, you guys pivoted from obscenity to insanity. But I've been Tony Sindelar. Thank you for listening to Total Party Kill. Take care. Goodbye, nerds.
now get the fuck out of here.
Wow.
I'm sorry, Tony.
Bless us, everyone.
No.
bless us.
Oh, you know
Frank
what? It
did
started
everything
for-
he could to unrailroad
what?
this adventure, but it couldn't be
you-
done.
You know
The
what,
orphans
James?
start a carol of songs in our heroic deeds.
James, I feel better now because when you were just trying to set fire to the ship, I'm like, James is not an idiot. Why is he doing this? And you had a plan. I did not believe that you had a plan.
Yep.
Usually when people tell me they have a plan, they're
They don't have
lying.
a plan, yeah.
Tiff will confirm I had the plan. 'Cause
True.
Basically, I said, we'll own the whole fucking thing.
Did you ever
Of
know?
course, we
at any
burned the
point-
fucking thing down.
Did you ever know at any point that he was actually on the ship? Because I don't think you were privy to that information.
I didn't know, but I thought he's got to be on the ship. If we burn the ship down, that destroys his body. And then you started to ruin my plan.
I know, that was the whole point.
You should have told us the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you bring somebody around who's easily convinced of things, but also very single-minded, things can get complicated.
I think the only possible flaw in your plan was the you chose not to bring these other thieves, murderers, and idiots in on it. So
I didn't think I would have to.
It led to a very Coen Brothers experience. Though.
Frank probably would not have agreed to that, by the way. That's not really his character. So
I will say that Aquafina was on board from day one.
You know what? I like how that turned out. That was
Yeah,
all
that
very
was funny.
interesting and not how I expected it.
Interesting.
You know what? I always appreciate when I am surprised as a
This
dungeon
is
master,
why
and
I didn't
am
want to tell you my
several-
plan, because
Yeah?
I thought,
I'm glad
No.
I didn't know.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it was better not knowing, James. So usually I don't say that, but that was it would not have been the same if I knew where that was heading. So good job.
by the way,
Which,
Frank has a very long memory for people who have shot at him in the past.
Yes.
Don't we
But-
all?
But so far, he thinks John O'Smear shot at him, so it might not be a problem for you.
yeah, he's your boss.
Well,
you
but,
know.
but presumably Cammy's gonna be hanging around in the Janos Mir persona.
Well,
for
I think
reasons
there's
of,
going to be like, now the 5 of you are in on it.
Yeah, there's got to be there's a complicated system where you like have to like you now have to take you have to basically
Shift
promote
power.
the people who are in on it, demote the people who already exist in the guild hierarchy or not in on it. Somehow you have to find a way to promote Cammy when either Cammy is never present or Janos Mir is never present. So I guess that's why it's good that you've got Gribbits as a go-between.
There's a
there.
whole world of Three's Company-esque shenanigans
yes.
that await us.
There's like,
Yeah.
all we need is a door that connects round
Yes.
to another door, and I just go out one, run around,
Yeah.
come out
Reappear
the
in the other.